Hey guys, just recording a quick video for a club regarding Fight Club Battle. I'm just going to. It's hard for me to communicate about Fight Club Battle via text, just because sometimes the things change quickly. So I just want to touch base and show you guys how I think we should strategize with Fight Club Battle. So let me just get into Fight Club Battle here for us. It's already done, obviously, and we're going to win, which is great. And I thank you for all your hard work. And I think, obviously, winning is important, but we want to get as many points as possible. Just because I know we all put a lot of work into our accounts, and getting the most free shit we can is great. I think next season we're going to see a lot of clans come together and they're going to score more points, and we just want to be able to maximize those points. So, but 86 to probably 40, 50 at the most is quite nice. Great job once again. So I think going forward, we're going to continue to do like what we did for this match. And I'm going to assign people, 7 of us, I'm going to assign to fight 7 certain guys. And I'm going to base that on their first person, okay? So I'll use this person as an example. So we got to see Koji, and Koji is legendary. So I would say in most cases, probably everybody that we're going to face is going to have 1, if not 2 legendary accounts, most likely just 1. There's not going to be too many accounts that are going to be like mine. So you can see this is a second account, and we can see that the legendary account is under Jacob here. So for going forward, I think this is how I want to strategize. And if you guys have other ideas, you can tell me later in chat. Now, I'm going to look at everybody's first player, and I'm going to assign people to those players. And the reason I'm going to assign you those players is because I can see their first account and think, speculate like I did with this guy here, number 4, and say, like, I'm going to speculate that his best account is in the first spot because he had an all max legendary account. Now, a max legendary account is an indication that this guy's probably only worked on this one build. And so yeah, so if I picked you for this max legendary account, I would anticipate, or if I were playing this guy, I would play him, and I would use my best guy on this first guy. And then I would move to their second guy, and what I would do is, the way I look at the hidden characters is it's like it's a 50-50 shot. Whether you know whether their first character is a good guy, really strong, or whether he's not so strong. Like, let's use Nepal MK as an example. So in the first spot, we can see that he's got Jin, and Jin's quite weak. So when I look at this, when I assign you to him, what I would do, and I know I have a maxed account on all 3 of my characters, so it's a lot easier for me to pick and choose. But for someone who doesn't have a maxed account in all 3 spots, that's okay. What you would do is you would find your lowest level character that can beat Jin and fight them with your lowest level character. Fight them first, get your things in. But what you need to do, or until they switch the rules, is what you need to do is you need to switch your gear. Now, so in my case right now, my 3 builds, you can see I'm quite strong, with Diego being my best build. But Jacob can also be a max Chimera, and Koji can be a semi-max Chimera as well. So I can rotate it around. Now, because I have 3 strong accounts, I'm only really moving defensive gear here or there. But let's say in the case of Nepal MK, and I wanted to use, let's say, Titus, okay? Now, Titus is my jabber, but what I would do is I would switch my gear to Titus, let's say, and put my best gear on him, which would be my Chimera set. So I would switch in my Chimera set, and then switch in my protectors. Now, if he was a let's say right here, so I'll switch in my protectors. Oh, no wonder Diego's losing. So these are my best protectors, and let's say I switched my gloves and I was running Chimera, then I would go in and fight. I would fight their number one fighter with my worst guy if I knew that my worst guy could beat that number one fighter with my best gear on. Okay. So once you beat that guy, then we move on to 2 or 3. It doesn't matter which one you pick. It's a 50-50 shot, and what I've been recommending is that you pick your best character to go against their first blank character. It doesn't matter if it's this guy, Jacob, or Diego. Now, if you happen to get it wrong and you get Diego with your best guy, it's okay, because we should get a first round KO. That means we're gonna maximize the points on that person. Now, what I want going forward is, unless you're someone like me who has then another maxed account that can beat a maxed account behind, what you should do is we're going to leave three people blank, and those 3 people should have easy characters in their open spot. So let's take a look here. So SS Solomon was a blank guy, right? And that's because we know Thomas is weak. So if you accidentally pick the not the hardest character of Nepal MK with your best guy, well, I don't want you to go up against his probable best guy with your worst character, your second worst character, unless you have an account that you can beat a maxed account with. There's no reason to lose fights here. So what I would want you guys to do is look at a character who isn't assigned, so there will be 3 hopefully, and fight his first character. So you should be able to beat that character. It might take you an extra round because you're using your worst character, but if you switch your gear, once again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to switch your gear if you don't have gear that can beat him handily. So like I would switch in, if I was going blind, I would potentially switch in my Chimera on all 3 of my fighters if I thought there was a chance that I could go up against an account that I couldn't beat. For me, it's hard because I can't show you an example, because I don't find my 3 of my guys can beat most of these characters anyhow very easily in the first round. So going forward, that's what I want to do, is I'm going to assign you guys a fighter that you're going to fight their first guy and one of their blank guys. After you fought their blank guy, if perchance you don't get their hardest fighter with your best fighter, then I would expect you to pick another fighter that is left open and fight one of their easy characters. And then why we do this is because by leaving that blank guy, so let's use Nepal K as an MK as an example. So by leaving his third fighter, Jacob, I would suspect, as one of the 3 people who don't have an assignment, I would expect that his best fighter would be in the 3rd spot, and I would use one of my 3 strong fighters to beat him. Since we get more points for completions, what we want to do is, if we start getting losses, like we did with in a few spots here, you can notice that I didn't want us to start fighting the Purge and Juega, because we were going to be giving up unnecessary points if we don't finish everybody. So that's what will happen, is that we're going to try to focus on finishing people as much as possible, and avoiding losses. And I think if we can avoid losses, then we'll be fine. And we do have, the guys who can come in later and pick up the slack on those tough builds. And, it looks like I had really easy matchups, which is, unfortunate. But if perchance we left really tough builds behind, then I can come in and clean them up. Or Bo KL, or even Demon Flip can jump in. And Tesla's on a different time zone than we are, so we can change who he fights later as well. All right, guys, that's about it. I'll see you in the chat. Thanks.